Welcome to a new Gigguk reaction video, and this is gonna be, of course, best of anime 2025. This is the big end of year video that he always does every single year, and I always watch it because it's always a banger. I have always a lot of things to say about it. I've been watching quite a few anime this year, obviously not as much as Gigguk has, but I feel like I can talk a bit more about all the anime that he's gonna mention as well. I can give my thoughts on it, so expect a lot of pausing, a lot of me talking, because that's definitely going to happen. And I'm also gonna talk about some of the shows that he maybe didn't talk about that were my personal favorites, or at least high up there, right? I have them all noted down, so I'm gonna leave the link to the original video, of course, down in the description, so make sure to go and watch that one as well. And let's go into Gigguk's Best of Anime 2025. Oh, it's a bit loud.
2025 was a year of turbulent times, uncertain futures, but if there was one thing I could rely on to pull through, of course, it was anime.
Yep, it was a banger year. 100% banger year. Yep.
If there was any doubt over anime's position in the world, 2025 has undoubtedly proven it is not just popular, but there are titles that achieve full-blown mainstream success. Demon Slayer became not only the highest-grossing anime movie of all time, but broke into the top 10 grossing movies of the year.
That's insane. I did not even know that.
IPs as How to Train Your Dragon and frickin' Superman? This movie was an absolute spectacle that delivered the Demon Slayer experience I expected, but damn did it feel long. I think about an hour in, I left to go pee, managed to find time to finish my college degree, got a job, started a family, came back, and I think we're
I'm gonna
about
talk about it after he leaves
Yakuza
or
flashback.
stops.
But they weren't the only one in the headlines, because one...
Okay, so I'm guessing that's all he's gonna talk about when it comes to Demon Slayer. So I want to touch upon it because I didn't watch the movie, but I watched Demon Slayer. I don't think I talked much about Demon Slayer on my channel because I watched it before starting my channel. I watched up until season 3, the entertain. No, what's the after one? The Swordsmith Village one. I watched like halfway through that one and I didn't really get sucked into it, so I kind of dropped it there. But my brother watched all of it and he watched the movie and he's been glazing the movie just yesterday. He's been talking to me about the movie. He's been like, yo, it's insane. You need to go and watch that. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't wait for the other ones to come out. So he's been glazing it a lot, but I haven't seen it.
Punch Man fans ate this year. And then collectively threw up. After 6 years of waiting, One Punch Man dropped a bomb not even Oppenheimer could recreate, giving us a season of animation so impressive, Google Slides is about to license it out as an add-on. History has taught
I'm not gonna
us
talk
that
about this.
everything good comes in threes. We've had the big three of World War II, the big three of colleges, the big three of tennis, the big three of shonen.
Yeah,
now,
that's it.
This year has finally given us the big three of frames. As the community
wait, what was that one?
Now, this year has finally given us the big three of
Oh my god, I completely forgot about the beginning after the end. Oh my goodness, that was also an interesting time. I'm not gonna talk about One Punch Man. I haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna talk about it.
Fans could only helplessly watch this unfold on the sidelines like,
hey, you wanted this, right? You wanted the real deal? That's what this is. Wake up, you're in the middle of it. Stop complaining.
This was the year where 2 letters shot fear into anyone.
Actually, I am going to talk about it, just slightly. I watched season 1 and season 2 before starting the channel. I loved season 1. I enjoyed season 2. I read the manga, and never looked back. I feel bad for, JC staff who had been given a absolutely impossible time limit to finish the project that they were supposed to finish by Bandai, so that's about it. Yep.
AI.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology? Technology!
And the anime community was not immune to its effects. We had masses of fake scenes posted with the release of Sora 2. Rock got its own AI companion, as if people weren't lonely enough. And of course, OpenAI allowed users to flood the internet with Ghibli AI drawings. Looking Miyazaki right in the eye and thinking, man, I don't think you hate anime enough yet. And if you're like me and just realized that all this happened within the space of 1 year, yeah. I know. I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
Being on the internet felt exhausting at some points this year.
It was.
The online landscape was as confusing as ever to navigate.
One of the worst years when it comes to that.
We needed hope. We needed positivity. We were yearning for some real human interaction.
Yes, of course. Of course. Yeah, that was a big meme.
There's no time left. Don't be afraid. He's a very good man. Offer up your energy.
But the year ended with actual people united under one banner. One drawing of Frieren with a chin so chopped she could withstand an uppercut from Mike Tyson. The voice actor for Frieren changed it to her profile picture.
I did not know that.
Came together to help draw her in a rare case of all-around positivity being spread online. This was the alive human theory. Real human-to-human interaction. No bots, no AI, just sheer determination to pick up a pencil and the will to follow what we knew Himmel the hero would do. Once and for all, proving the strongest AI slop can still be defeated by the weakest pencil user. Did anything else happen this year?
Preach.
Oh yeah, I made my own.
Oh yeah, congrats.
This is the part where I normally get to my honorable mentions, but today I have something else I need to mention honorably, and that's today's sponsor, Arknight's Enfield. The wait is finally over. Okay. I've talked about it.
I am going to skip obviously the sponsored part here, but I do want to touch upon Arknights because I've been addicted. I've been so addicted. Obviously, I'm also not sponsored or anything along those lines, but I've been so addicted to Arknight's Enfield. I finally caught up to the main story. Sorry, I know this is completely unrelated, but finally caught up. I can finally put it down, but now I need to optimize my factories. So I've just been addicted. I've been playing that whenever I have the time. I've put way too much time into it over the past few days. I've almost forgot to record stuff because of it, so don't try it. Don't try it. It's too addicting.
For sponsoring us today, and with that said, here are the actual honorable mentions. If this is your first time here, I rarely put continuations of shows I've already talked about on previous lists unless it really goes above and beyond and gives me something new to say about it. But that doesn't mean I didn't continue enjoying them. Done. Might not have gotten the same buzz that episode 7 provided, but I've really enjoyed the character-focused development we got.
I agree.
Everyone likes to talk about the weirdness or the flashy action, but this shit is doing romance better than most romance anime right now.
Yeah, I really enjoyed season 2.
I introduced my anime illiterate mum.
I really enjoyed season 2 of Dandadan. I think it was really, really fun. I think for me, it felt kind of like similar to season 1 when it comes to how much I liked it. I really liked the first arc because it was like a long arc. I think overall, I may have enjoyed season 2 more than season 1. Ever so slightly, but both of them were fantastic. I think they were both comparable.
To Apothecary Diaries, so I thought I'd be a loving son this year and save myself from watching season 2 until the Christmas break.
Oh, okay.
With her. By which point she had already watched it 4 times.
Oh,
she still doesn't even know its name. She just calls it Mau Mau. City, the animation.
Classic. I enjoyed Apothecary Diaries season 2 a lot. I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as season 1, but I think that's because when it was a season 1, it was obviously a lot newer, and I also watched more episodes a week of it because I wasn't watching it weekly at that point, right? I was watching it on the channel. I think it was more episodes a week than just one, I think, if I remember correctly. So I just enjoyed it a lot, and I liked the bit more lightheartedness of season 1, but season 2 was also really, really good though. Some of the reveals of season 2 were fantastic. I loved it a lot.
Really did not lie about its name. Being in my top 3 of best animated shows of the year, that was so close to making the list, but just didn't quite meet the same level of unhinged, gut-busting laughter Nichijou gave me. Now if we're talking most unhinged show this year, that was Nukitashi.
Oh my goodness. I have not seen Nukitashi, of course.
I would love to talk about this one more, but the amount of frames I'd be able to get away showing here would equal that of an episode of One Punch Man 3. Solo leveling. Now, I know you're going to ask me about this, so let me just set the record straight. And the anime award goes to... Oh... Sung Jin-woo from Solo Leveling. I like Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is a series that knows exactly what it is. It does one thing, but does that one thing so exceedingly well, you do not care about anything else. And this season delivered some of the best power fantasy or farming action spectacle you can find, and I ate it up. But that doesn't also mean I think it's the best anime, or has the best main character. To me, this is not a 3-star Michelin dish, it is a McDonald's chicken nugget, for the best fucking nugget you've tasted in your life. And who wants to live in a world without nugs?
Nice.
Last year.
Yeah. I think Solo Leveling was absolutely fantastic, especially season 2. I think season 2 was a big step up because it did adapt, in my opinion, the best arc of Solo Leveling. I don't know where it's gonna go from here, or how good the seasons are gonna be from here. I'm sure they're gonna be still great, but I love season 2. I really enjoyed season 2. I think I love the story of Solo Leveling as well. I don't think it's obviously the most insane story ever, but I really like the entire system part of it. I think the story is fun enough that it lends itself so well to well, to the insane action and everything insane going on there. Sang Ji-woo is just a fun character. It's so fun seeing a character that doesn't take shit from others. There isn't like a pushover. That's so fun. It's great to see it. And we've been seeing it more and more nowadays in modern anime, which is just a great shift from the usual anime protagonists that are kind of like wimps and pushovers, and then they become cool in like one moment. I'm not a huge fan of that, so yeah, I like Solo Leveling a lot. I know it gets obviously a lot of hate because of how popular it is, but I really like it.
Cop out by putting a movie at the top of the list. Thankfully, this year was so stacked with choices, I didn't need to do that again. But if I did, 2 titles would definitely be making the list. Chainsaw Man lived up to the absolute cinema meme it originally started. This wasn't just another shonen movie adaptation. It was a perfectly crafted cinematic experience. And I think it says a lot that for how much jaw-dropping, mind-blowing action sequences this movie delivered on, the quieter, serene pool scene is the one my mind always comes back to. But standing toe-to-toe with that, in my eyes.
I haven't seen Hyakuem. I have not seen Hyakuem. I want to watch this because it is by the author of Orb, but I haven't seen it yet. I really want to watch it though. Anyways, Riz Arc, I made a full video on my thoughts on the Riz Arc because I haven't actually seen it on my channel. I watched it in the cinema because I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did, and I watched Chainsaw Man the season 1 before even starting my channel, and I was like, I liked Chainsaw Man, but I wasn't fully sold on it. So I was like, you know what? This is going to be an anime that I'm going to watch on my own. I'm not going to do it on the channel. And then I watched Reza Arc in the cinema, and I was like, shoot, I should have watched this on the channel for the first time. But also, I do not regret watching it in the cinema because what a cinematic experience that is. Because, oh man, it just sold me. He said that his favorite scene was the scene in the pool. That was a fantastic scene, especially with the entire imagery of, you know, how Denji gets caught in a trap, the spider eating the cicada or whatever, or the fly or whatever it was. That was a fantastic scene. But my favorite scene, like the entire scene at the beginning, the date scene at the beginning, I'm gonna try to not spoil anything big, but the entire date scene at the beginning, that scene sold the movie and sold the franchise to me. That one scene made me realize what Tatsuki Fujimoto is trying to do with this, and how he's trying to impact people and being like, hey, this is not going to be for everyone. This is not going to be like the most insane story, this most cookie cutter, like perfect characters, perfect everything. I'm just trying to put my emotions on the screen and trying to get those emotions through to everyone else. I'm putting whatever I want on screen and trying to influence other or affect other people by those emotions, right? And that's how when I saw that entire scene at the beginning, that's how I perceived the rest of the movie then. I was just like, man, Tatsuki Fujimoto is just trying to say stuff, and he's so cool. Or not necessarily trying to say stuff, he's just putting stuff down that he wants and he likes. And sometimes he wants to say stuff, sometimes he just thinks it's cool, and that's awesome. And that was one of my favorite scenes. The other one was the scene with Teresa in the bathroom with like the red light behind her. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna spoil anything more. That one scene there, absolutely fantastic. Got me on the edge of my seat. So those are my 2 favorites. And the pool scene was also fantastic. So yeah, haven't seen Hyakuem though. I really want to watch it.
100 meters. If Chainsaw Man was that critically acclaimed blockbuster, 100 meters would be that Oscar-nominated indie movie with moments equally as breathtaking and cinematic. Cinema.
Nice.
This is a film about running, about peoples whose lives are about running. You see people who destroy their lives over obsessions, over chasing records, chasing achievements, sacrificing everything, only to wonder what the point of it all was to begin with. You see people unable to fully commit to themselves.
God, the animation is gorgeous, man.
Not as good as they think they are, crafting a prison of their own anxieties they're unable to break out of. You see people so desperately searching for meaning in what they do, unsure if they live to run or run to live. People who've always been second best yet still have not given up on believing in themselves, breaking the reality life has crafted for them, and then halfway through the movie you take a step back and think, wait, we're still talking about running, right? This movie doesn't just speak to the soul.
You sold me.
Drags it out, shakes
oh
the
my
neck
goodness,
and shouts full volume at it.
Yeah, you sold me. I'm watching
somewhere
this.
Is going to find this movie at the right time of their lives, and there's going to be a line uttered by a character in here that shoots so deeply to their core, they're going to switch their life into manual mode after having lived it on auto the entire time.
Oh, that's a line as well. Holy. Is this Gachiaka? Wow, number 10 Gachiaka. Wow. Really?
Do you ever feel like if you watch enough anime, so many of them don't just start looking the same, but also start to feel the same? Gachiaka spits on that, taking pre-established conventions and says, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. This is set in the world of trash.
Okay, that kind of sounds like
But unlike the latter, there is absolutely nothing garbage flavor about presenting one of the most insane worlds Shonen has to offer. Have a look at these characters. Now, unless you've already seen them, you might not be able to tell that these are 5 characters from 5 completely different shows.
Picture.
Now take one character from Gachiaka. Not only will you never be able to
It's a
mistake
gorgeous
the show
art
they're
style.
from,
Oh, the
but
character
their
design is
style,
also
their
great,
attitude,
yeah.
how they carry themselves, everything about them screams expression that you know exactly what type of personality they have. Now multiply that by all the minor characters you'll ever see. Gachiaka has a design philosophy that permeates every single aspect of the show, creating a visual language with a vibe that is absolutely unmatched. Neon lights flood the back alleys, the streets are crude and gritty, with a stench that almost permeates through the screen. Graffiti plasters every wall you
Looks
walk
really
past.
cool.
The world doesn't just feel lived in. Every little detail exudes a sense of character that communicates a story to you without having to utter a single word. The author teamed up with a real graffiti artist to help craft the art
Oh, that's
behind
awesome.
it, which just adds that layer of
That's really
authenticity
cool.
to its visual identity. And also, just look at her. She is a character in her own
Oh,
world. Then
that's
you
the...
have power
Okay, that's
system.
cool.
It's trash. Parentheses affectionate. Having a system where objects treated with love and care are imbued with powers is not only original, but serves as another vehicle for characters to express themselves. It's the only show where you'll see characters use scissors, umbrellas, gloves, hair cones, and glasses as weapons, but then you start to wonder, why is that object this character's vital instrument? What does that say about their personality, their backstory? Which objects do I have that define me? It's ideas like this that feed your imagination.
You know what kind of reminds me?
Possibilities it opens up, and
Oh,
that's
wait, I'm
what I
gonna
felt
wait.
watching Gachiaka in its entirety. It might not be the most polished shonen of our generation or have a story that pushes it to new boundaries, yet I constantly found myself hitting that next episode just so I could spend a bit more time in the insane world it created.
That's cool. I have never seen Gachiaka. I've heard it recommended a few times. I really want to watch it though. Especially now that he said it. I kind of want to watch it. But it kind of reminds me of the power system and the powers of something like Kill la Kill, where you can see someone's powers and you can be like, okay, so this is your personality. You know, those powers in Kill la Kill were very much pertaining to the actual personalities of the people who wielded those powers, which is, I thought, was one of the best things about Kill la Kill, right? And here, that feels like a similar thing as well, which is awesome. What's that?
The Lord and Master of Luna Mountain!
Oh, wow! Really?
What happened over the past millennium?
Was it that good?
What is it that brings them here?
Fantasy is the double-edged sword of the anime world. Swing one side and you have some of the most critically acclaimed,
That
beloved
was
shows in the entire
the
medium,
fantasy
respected
show.
by everyone who watches them. But swing the other side and you're greeted with some of the trashiest, stinkiest shows you can find in the medium. And I'm not talking about the Gachiaka kind. So when a new fantasy anime comes out, I'm always thinking, which side is this one gonna swing? Alright, looks like we've got some hyper-violent action. Could be edgy, could be mature, unsure. Oh hey, there's proper thought put into the world building and politics, so it's not just the same copy-paste
Okay.
Demon Lord fantasy world. That swings that way. Okay, the hero's been given an immortal body. Sounds like this could potentially be power fantasy-ish. Yeah, that's a little stinky. But then I watch as the hero yeets herself off a cliff, leaving just her mangled corpse remaining, only to have her body parts grotesquely shoved back into place.
Oh my
As you
God.
hear the crackling of bones over the most guttural scream of pain as her body is forcibly put back together, little by little, while the bandits around her can only watch on in horror. And it was this moment that I realized, oh, I'm in.
Okay,
Cleavatess
that
is
sounds
the kind
awesome.
of brutal dark fantasy show I've been missing. Not a full-on masterpiece like Berserk, but just a fun show that takes itself just seriously enough. You have a protagonist that is heroic and kicks ass without being annoyingly idealistic or stupidly overpowered. Also, she has an eye patch. The world and power
That's cool.
system isn't just copying off every other power fantasy
That's just
out
cool.
there. The protagonist has an eye patch.
Yeah.
The violence is gratuitous while being purposeful and setting the tone of the story.
And
you
she
can
has
see the hallmarks
an eye
of what
patch.
could have turned into an edgy fantasy, slavery, prostitution, but then you're reminded that anime can actually treat these subjects with the weight that they deserve. It's not always for the faint of heart, but it's the kind of grungy 90s fantasy show anime hasn't seen in a long time. She's got a goddamn eye patch!
That she does. Well, haven't seen it, but looks awesome. Looks so fun. Medalist! The GOAT! Yes! Yes! I love Medalist.
Parent and how their eyes lights up when talking about their kids. They show you a million photos of the same pose. They brag about the smallest achievement their kid was able to do. You feel a sense of pride you've never felt before towards anything else when they speak. That's what watching Medalist makes you feel like. This is a show about ice skating, but it's also a show about role models and the rewards of what being a great role model can get you. Inori is an 11-year-old girl who's been told she's too old to enter the figure skating world. She's shy, insecure, and collects worms for a hobby. This girl is going to get absolutely destroyed in school. But just by finding one person that believes in her, she's able to see something in herself that she never could before, shine in a way she never believed, and you're invited to be a part of that transformation. Medalist grabs you with grounded, well-realized characters all around, doing something revolutionary by treating its child characters like normal characters. Because did you know? Children are people too. When you think about it, it's kind of fucked up how much your life insecurities and self-image are defined by a few early moments in your life. Maybe a teacher said that you were dumb, and then from then on you just accept that as a fact. Or maybe, hypothetically, you were told your hair looks silly, so you start spiking it up like fucking Sasuke. Or a friend said you were boring, so you buy this Scarface poster to pretend like you have a personality. Or you look like a nerd with glasses, so you start wearing contacts every day. So seeing someone who is able to be set on the correct path because they found the right person, found the right role model, spoke to a part of my younger self that might not have gotten that same opportunity. Every small achievement, every small step they take becomes a collective win. And when they pull through and hit that complete triple axel after numerous falls, you'll be shedding tears like a proud dad telling the person next to you, that's my kid. Yeah, that's my kid.
And in big part, you know what I love about the show? The script is written by Yuki Hanada, who is the absolute GOAT. But yeah, either way, the show is absolutely fantastic. Definitely would be in my top 10 as well. It is such a good show. I watch it, of course. I'm watching season 2 now as well. I think, was it yesterday that I watched episode 1? I think so. But it's absolutely a fantastic show. I absolutely love seeing how they tackle the entire thing of, you know, someone who is actually too old now, like just physically speaking, in the coach, right? Tsukasa being obviously too old for it because he's also already an adult. Him trying to reignite his passion for it through, like, vicariously through Inori. And it's so cool to see. Also, I love how Inori is just, as he said, just a character, right? She is just a character. And I love that. I love that. It doesn't feel like she's overly cartoonishly a kid, but also it doesn't seem like she is like too adult, which sometimes anime does, where they take a character who's like 9 years old, but they're like the smartest kid or the smartest character that you've ever seen, and they speak in like verses and stuff and like poems. She's just a kid, or she's just an 11-year-old, right? And I really, really like that. It was a show that made me shed a few tears quite a few times during its run of season 1, right? And also the performances look so good. The motion capping that they did for the actual performances look fantastic. The CG models are good as well. They're not like the best CG models that I've seen, but they're definitely not bad in any way, shape, or form. They're really, really good. But motion capping is the big part that it's really good about the performances. I love the show. It's fantastic. Oh, hell yeah.
Horror is
Banger.
one of those genres anime rarely gets right. On one hand, I think the medium makes it harder to get genuine scares compared to its live-action counterparts, but then one too many times we get a promising project like Uzumaki that took a bit too much inspiration from its source material and spiraled its own production into madness. I was beginning to lose faith, but thankfully the summer Hikaru died not only restored that, but has set the bar of how anime can achieve horror of the highest quality. So you may be wondering, what's so different about this one?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting.
I love Willem Dafoe.
I'd heard so many great things about this manga, but I watched the anime knowing nothing about it.
Same.
I wanted to go in raw, and apparently, so did they. And within the first few minutes, it's evidently clear how this show succeeds where so many others have faltered. Almost immediately, you
I love the director. Yohei Takeshita is so good.
Dread that
is his
under
name,
your
right?
skin and
I think
doesn't
so.
let up. Every scene oozes a sinister air as thick as the summer humidity you're watching on screen. It's not about jump scares. It's the ghastly imagery that gives you a peek into the eldritch horrors that lay beneath the shadows. Horrific entities brought to life with haunting arts that make the hair on the back of your neck stand. Atmosphere is why this is a masterclass of animated horror.
100%.
Behind all that, though, is a succinct exploration of grief and love between two bros that is 100% undeniably, categorically platonic.
Platonic, of course, very platonic.
So good? Hey, yo, what the fuck?
I mean, just look at this man. He's so straight, he's about to have sex with another man, so he knows what the woman he goes on dates with will feel like. Because, you know, when you have a Lovecraftian nightmare creature wearing the skin of your dead friends, you first got to figure out so many things. What is it? Is it dangerous? Does it come in peace? Or just you?
You know, maybe Michael's gay, maybe he's not. He is.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely deserve to be up there. I love the summer Hikaru died, and the big part of why I love it, there are two main parts that I would say I love about it. I love everything about it, but two parts that stand out the most for me. Number one is the direction of it, as I said earlier. It's by, I believe the director is Ryohei Takeshita, if I'm not mistaken, is his name. And everything that I've seen from him, regardless of the actual content of the shows that he has directed, they've all been so gorgeous. The direction of those shows has all been fantastic. If you don't know, he's done the Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, which had a strong first half and a weaker second half. It kind of like fizzled out a tiny bit, even though it was still a solid show at the end. But the direction of the show throughout the entire show has been fantastic. And also the Eromanga Sensei is a show that he's done, and regardless of the contents of the show, the direction of the show was so good. So good. That was the standout thing about that show as well. So Ryohei Takeshita has a very distinct style, or not distinct maybe, but very unique style, I would say, of directing. And it's on full display in Summer Hikaru Died. I think this is his most gorgeous show to date that I've seen. And it was fantastic. The other big thing that I loved about the show is Yoshiki's character. I think his character was so interesting because there were so many things shown to us about Yoshiki that is so different from a regular protagonist, because he is a weird guy, right? And he is very much afraid of confrontation. He's running away from confrontation. He sometimes even kind of like puts his friends in danger by his, I guess, him being afraid of taking action, right? And him being afraid of confrontation and stuff like that. There were some scenes where he made a decision to just leave, even knowing Hikaru is a dangerous monster who can kill anyone and has made attempts to kill people who are close to Yoshiki. He leaves Hikaru together with his friends and goes home because he's like, no, I don't want to be here anymore, or like something along those lines. There's more to the scene, but he didn't ever like take action towards, preventing Hikaru, like trying to protect his friends or anything along those lines, because he's so afraid of inaction. There's also one scene at the beginning, I believe it's like episode, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, somewhere around there, where it showed his anxiety in such a gorgeous way, where it was like panning to like amplifying all of the ambient sounds that he was feeling, and you started to feel stressed and anxious because of all of the ambient sounds being amplified. It was like zooming in on the AC, on the fan, and like the sound it produced. It was such a gorgeous scene to show how anxious Yoshiki was feeling just about being outside, and all of his thoughts that were swirling around his head. Yeah, such a good anime. Okay, I'm watching To Be Hero X right now. I'm sure he's not gonna spoil anything. China.
China has continually been on the rise in the animation space, and this year it really felt like there was always at least one show per season that stood out in the world of animation.
This scene here,
to be one of the hot shows to watch.
Just a random scene.
In my eyes, their crowning achievement of 2025 came in the form of To Be Hero X. This is China's own take into the superhero genre that asks the question, what would society be like if people could gain superpowers based on the social media influence they have? India is now a world superpower. OnlyFans is more powerful than Disney. But in the world of To Be Hero X, anyone can gain superpowers as long as you are able to convince the masses to believe in you. Trust is how you gain power in this world. People's mass perceptions dictate not only who becomes a superhero, but the types of powers they get and the life they lead. There's Furman, a firefighter who saved a young girl from a falling ceiling that went viral, gaining him the power of incredible strength and invulnerability at the expense of never being able to take a proper shit ever again because he can never bend over thanks to his immovable image. Then there's this guy. He got his powers from a League of Legends chat lobby. The risk with a series like this is that you lack a central protagonist to be able to follow the story through, but it more than makes up for it by being able to explore a multitude of interesting ideas with the premise that they've set up. Not every story is as equally compelling as the next, but every hero is wholly distinct both thematically and visually. Slowly but surely, you are able to piece together the timeline of events and see it all come together at the end. And if that wasn't enough for a reason to watch it, then there's also Hero X, who has the interesting ability to run through a season's worth of animation budget every time he
I'm not gonna listen to this. I haven't seen him yet. Oh god.
Outside of the unique world setting and power system, this has some of the coolest action sequences I've seen in an animated TV series.
I haven't seen them yet.
If that still isn't enough for a reason to jump on, watch it because the creator's a pretty cool guy also. I don't know where I heard that one from.
Nice. Yeah, I'm watching To Be Hero X right now. I just watched episode 10 today, so I am almost halfway through the show, I think. And it's been absolutely insane right now. I just finished the Lucky Cyan arc, and that was a really, really fun arc as well. Yeah, I talked more about it in that video if you're interested in that, but I'm really, really loving To Be Hero X right now. There's a lot of questions I have, but I think that's normal. As he said, it seems like as you see more different arcs, you get to piece together the actual events and the timeline, which I'm waiting for right now because there's definitely questions that I have about it, but I'm just waiting for the show to present the answers to them, right? It's a fantastic show. I love it. What's 5?
Of course, there's a lot of misery, but it is the same misery that
Takopi,
is all around us. The trees here are in misery and the birds are in misery. I don't think they sing, they just screech in pain.
Yep.
I remember the first time I watched the movie Requiem for a Dream, a movie so shockingly powerful that it disturbed me to my core, yet allowed me to experience emotions few pieces of fictions had been able to make me feel. Its message has left an imprint on me that remains to this day and continues to be one of those films I'm glad I experienced but never wanted to watch again. I said exactly the same thing to myself after watching Takopi's Original Sin. This is one of those shows that leaves you completely drained, giving you the sinking feeling that drops down to the pit of your stomach at the end of every episode. Genre? Drama? No, this is a straight-up horror anime for your emotions. It's about an alien, Takopi, from the planet Happy. All he wants to do is spread smiles and happiness without a single shred of negativity. He's the type of guy who'd hear about a racism problem and try to solve it by running. Now pair him with the Trauma Trio, 3 kids whose collective future therapist bill would equal the GDP of Norway. That's right.
Hey, little buddy, how are you doing? Oh my god, whoa, 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 whoa.
It's Japanese Smiling Friends. This is a series that wastes no time into throwing you into the absolute deep end of emotional trauma and letting you sink further from there. Watching the first episode of Takopi is like...
yeah. Steve Gutenberg.
And then the series just continues pounding your emotions into the ground. It presents you with some of the heaviest subjects a child can go through with no filters to help avert your eyes. If I had a nickel for every time one of these kids got whipped by a belt, I'd have 0 nickels. Because their parents used a fist.
Yeah.
Everyone is an asshole. Everyone is the worst kind of human they can possibly be. Then when you're shown that faint ray of sunlight at the end of the tunnel, your first instinct is to think, oh no. But that's not to say there is no point to all of this suffering. For how despicable some of these actions you witness are, it constantly reminds you that the biggest villains are the parents who failed them. Parental neglect, physical abuse, and worst of all, a law-accurate Asian mum.
I can't laugh.
Each kid is a product of their own toxic environment, and for how suffocatingly pessimistic this show can be, it never devolves into being downright cynical. It's an important reminder of how trauma can be passed on, how the worst environments can shape the worst people, and no matter how hard life can be, nothing is more suffocating than having to deal with it alone. Because in the end, aren't the friends we made, the trauma bonding we did along the way? Wait, is that how it goes?
I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause. He's obviously made up his mind. Why don't we just cut our losses and get out of here?
Yeah. I mean, misery breeds misery. Yeah, this is... Oh my god, I know what anime is coming up, and I 100% agree. I would even put it higher, but I'm gonna talk about that in a bit. 100% agreed. I don't have too much to add to Takopi. It was... I can say this. After episode 1, I watched episode 1. I didn't know what it's gonna be about. I had a feeling about like what kind of theme it's gonna go for, especially with the content warning at the beginning of the episode 1. But I didn't know anything else about it. And I watched episode 1 and I needed like... I feel like I was depressed for like 3 or 4 days after it. Or not depressed necessarily. I just had this pit in my stomach for the next 3 or 4 days. And I was struggling to record anything. It was a rough time because watching that episode was really rough. Luckily, I think the show... I don't know if it was me getting used to the vibe of Takopi after episode 1 or if it was the show kind of like changing the vibe of it. I'm not sure. But subsequent episodes were easier to watch. Maybe it's also because the first episode was a double episode, which was doubly hard to watch. But either way, the subsequent episodes were a bit easier to watch, but still, it kept up the same themes or similar themes and stuff like that. It was an absolutely fantastic show, and that's not even factoring in the incredible animation and voice acting that it had, right? So it's just a 10 out of 10 show, nothing much else to add, and especially considering it's a, 6-episode show, and it's fully finished, like, there's no reason, well, I was gonna say there's no reason not to watch it. There are reasons not to watch it, especially if you get put off by those trigger warnings that are at the beginning. But if you can stomach it, then highly, highly, highly recommend it. Yes, yep.
2026 is now officially the year of the horse,
question.
But unfortunately, Uma Musume didn't get that memo because, like your typical gacha gamer, it came a bit early.
Good one.
This was the year the internet collectively fell into the Uma Musume rabbit hole, and Cinderella Gray embodies every damn reason of why this franchise became a global phenomenon. This was the highest intensity, no bullshit, all-action sports anime to come out in 2025, delivering that level of jump-out-you-see hype in every single episode you put on. You are given little room to breathe, going from one race to the next. Every match injecting that burst of adrenaline your body starts to crave. If you were living under a rock last year, yes, there is a gacha game of the same IP. Yes, this is anthropomorphized horse girls running against each other based on real historic races in Japan, which I've already talked about when I covered the show last month, but you don't need to know any of that to enjoy the spectacle it delivers. That rush as you witness that last eruption is as addictive as any drug. You hear the roar of the crowd as the commentator eggs them on, and you watch athletes digging deeper than they ever have before. Suddenly, this janky-ass anime girl run becomes the most hype thing you've ever seen. As you shout out, "God, this is what peak performance looks like!" The race is over. You calm down, switch on the next episode, and experience it all again. Wait, that last paragraph sounded familiar. Was that ChatGPT? No, in fact, it was GigGPT, because I just copied it from myself. I've already said everything I have to say about it in that video, so you know what? I'll just let ChatGPT
take it away.
My own work to tell you again, in the style of Gigguk. That moment when the final eruption hits, your monkey brain just activates. The crowd is screaming. The commentator is absolutely losing it. The athletes are pushing past every physical limit known to mankind.
Real cool.
And suddenly, this janky, low FPS anime girl run has your full, undivided soul. You're sitting there like, why am I this invested? As you stand up yelling, God, this is peak human performance at your screen, like you've just witnessed the second coming. But it's sponsored by questionable animation shortcuts, and then it ends. You blink. You remember you're an adult. You sigh, click the next episode, and willingly let it happen to you all over again, because anime has once again tricked you into feeling emotions through sheer bullshit and spectacle. What the fuck does ChatGPT?
What the fuck does that even mean?
You can go watch my actual video if you want to hear everything I have to say about it better than GPT ever could.
I haven't seen it yet.
I promise I'm gonna stop glazing my own work now. Anyway, number 3.
Nah, go for it, King. Ban? Okay. Yeah. Uma Musume, I watched it exclusively on Patreon because the copyright around that anime is impossible to get by on YouTube. So I watched it exclusively on Patreon. So I finished Cinderella Gray just as part 2 of Cinderella Gray was finishing as well. So I timed it almost perfectly. Like, I think I was like 1 or 2 weeks off. But yeah, I finished all of it, all of Pretty Derby, the movies, Cinderella Gray, and Cinderella Gray Part 2. And it was absolutely fantastic. Cinderella Gray is obviously the best part so far. It's been getting better and better and better. Well, the movie was fantastic. That was like beginning of the new era. That was absolutely fantastic. But apart from that, I think season 2 of Pretty Derby was my favorite before actually going into Cinderella Gray. And then Cinderella Gray comes on, and every single episode you get so hyped up. I was crying, I was screaming, I was hyped up, I was smiling, I was laughing. It was every single episode was the most invested I was in any show ever. It was just me glued to the screen, being absolutely hyped up over just the introductions of the names of the horses for no reason, because they build up the hype so well. And I wish I could re-experience this again for the first time so much. But alas, we cannot do that. It was, I guess I'm gonna say this, I think it's my anime of the year. There's only one anime that rivals it, that I'm sure it's gonna be number 1 on Gigguk's Gigguk's list as well. I was gonna say playlist. Gigguk's list as well, but we'll see. There's only one that can rival it for me.
The Boundaries of Adulthood. This was a new anime made by a fairly new creator in the industry.
Oh, okay. Okay, that was okay. I was gonna say, is this Apocalypse Hotel? Okay.
Attention spans are fucked. Memes are incomprehensible. I can't be the only one who feels like every day I see something that makes me lose IQ until my last remaining brain cells are stuck there on life support, powering the last bit of sentient thought I have. But this year, there was no show that healed my soul more than watching Apocalypse Hotel.
I want to watch Apocalypse Hotel. I don't know anything that it's like what it's about. I just heard that it's really, really good. I really want to watch it. I want to skip this segment. Sorry guys, I'm gonna skip this segment because I really want to watch it. I know nothing about it so far at all. So I kind of want to keep it that way because people have been recommending it a few times and it's been on the Patreon poll a few times. It hasn't won yet, but I really want to watch it in the near future. So I'm just gonna skip this. So yeah.
Was this supposed to be the end?
Oh! Okay. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I don't think it's gonna spoil anything. Probably, right? If it's out of context.
Shows are the lifeblood of the anime industry. They are the most popular, have the most influence, and are very often some of the very first anime we end up watching. It's these shows that help shape a young generation of people, and I certainly can't forget what they instilled into me. As a kid too young to understand anything, I saw heroes fighting against evil to protect the things they stand for. They stood up for those who couldn't, represented all the good in the world, and though I grew up and realized the real world isn't as simple or idealistic as the one portrayed in the realm of fiction, it's these stories that help set me on the right path. It gave me hope.
The OG
it gave
Hunter
me
Hunter.
role models. It taught me about the person I should aspire to be. To me, this is what shonen is meant to be about. This
I love
is
this
the shonen
OST.
I grew up with. This is the shonen I know.
I love
and I
Naruto
don't
OSTs.
think many shows have distilled that concept down as purely as My Hero Academia has.
Actually, I think it's the
Regular
opening.
viewers will know that I've had an up and down relationship with this franchise. I instantly fell in love in Season 1, watched it explode in popularity in Season 2 and 3, then gradually fell out of favor as other shows took the spotlight, but I always kept watching in hopes that it could at least end with a bang. And now, 10 years later,
I've heard nothing but good things about it, about the ending.
Boy, did it ever.
Or like the final 3 seasons.
This final season delivered a spectacle worthy of the legacy it will leave. And now that's all over. Looking back, I feel like My Hero Academia came out in a strange transitionary period. In a time where its contemporaries were getting darker, getting weirder, getting bloodier.
100%, that's fair to
MHA
say.
was the squeaky clean, straight-laced student in a classroom of delinquents. And yet, it managed to achieve what so many long-running series have failed to do. For after 10 years of characters, action, drama, and development, it was able to close out standing tall, shouting a clear and concise message for the world to hear that stayed completely true to what it always was. Anyone can be a hero. Anyone should try to be a hero, even if it's just for the people around you. It's hopeful. It's optimistic. It's somewhat maybe cheesy, but it is very My Hero Academia. This may not go down in history as everyone's favorite show, but I will remember it as a testament of what the beating heart of shonen should be. We will always need heroes. We will always need hope. We will always need a story like this. And at the end of this era, I'm glad it was there to remind us one last time.
Plus Ultra. Damn! Well, I know what's gonna be number 1 because it's up there as my number 1 as well. As I said, tied with Uma Musume. But when it comes to My Hero Academia, I just want to slightly talk about it because I haven't seen... Okay, so what have I seen? I've seen Season 1 and some of Season 2. I don't remember how much of Season 2 I watched, but I watched it back when it first aired. So way before my channel and stuff like that. I watched Season 1 and some Season 2, and I had a fun time. I liked it. I couldn't get invested in it though. I thought it was okay, and so I never continued it. But I did hear great things about Season 6, 7, and 8. So... there is a part of me that wants to watch it, you know, on the channel. It would be like, if I were to watch it on the channel, I would watch it from the beginning because I don't remember much of Season 1 because it's been like 10 years or whatever since it first came out. But yeah, I kind of do want to watch it though, now that it's done, over, and apparently the final parts of it are fantastic. So maybe I'm gonna get more into it if I rewatch Season 1 and go from there, you know. But let's go into number 1. Let's go into peak. Shall we?
何度でもこの世には様々な人がいる。こんなに大勢いるのに誰一人同じ人はいない。そりゃ争いは絶えないでしょ。
Here we go.
In my line of work, I watch a lot of shows. I remember a lot of shows, but rarely do I have the time to go back and rewatch them. It's only when something truly lingers, a story that grabs hold and follows me, that occupies my mind whenever I have a free moment. That one line that sticks with me not because it was witty or punchy, but because it touched on something deep, something meaningful, something real. I've rewatched Orb, On the Movements of the Earth, more times this year than any other shows from the past 10 years.
I would watch it once.
I am still as moved, as awestruck, as absolutely mesmerized as the first time I watched it. Why am I telling you all this?
I love this line.
This was a show that when half done, I put as fourth on my list last year, not knowing that when I finished the entire thing, it would become my anime of the decade. That's a big statement, and you may not agree. You may have other shows you prefer. It may not have hit you the same way it hits me, but that is my truth. And for a moment, I wanted to invite you to see what that truth meant. A show like this comes along only a few times in a generation. It is not only one of the most original, beautiful, and nigh on unpredictable series to come out in modern times, but it's one of those stories that has the power to teach you something about yourself. Without preaching, without telling you what's correct, it presents you with profound ideas and helps guide you to find your own answers. Orb is an anime about heliocentrism. It's about proving the Earth moves around the sun, but also it's a story about truth, about people who fight for truth, about the lengths people will go to prove truth, about people who have their truths challenged and respond to it without disrespecting the person that challenged it. An egotistical priest putting his trust in the wisdom of a peasant, a devout believer defending the words of an atheist. The heroes of the story are not the ones who are right. It's the ones who are willing to accept that they could be wrong, who will listen to those that oppose them and try to understand even if they don't necessarily agree. These are the people that embody the human spirit, that together ignite a flame that transcends lifetimes.
What a transition.
Every character is memorable, every line powerful, every journey poetic. This is simply one of the most beautiful stories I've ever witnessed. And the more time that has passed since I first finished it, the more times I've rewatched it over this year, the stronger its message has resonated with me as I looked out and saw the world as it is today. Unlike the world of Orb, we live in a time when information is more readily available than it ever has been, and yet truth has never felt so hard to find. Technology that should have allowed us to grow closer has
that scene with technology was so good with Schmidt.
Knowledge is no longer the currency we lack. It's trust, a lack of trust that has eroded the respect we have of our fellow person. Ideas are not built on, they are condensed down, dismantled, and publicly shamed. Everyone is a soldier, enlisted to fight in an ideological war of exchanges, where common ground is no man's land and the winner is decided not by who is more right, but who can prove the other side more wrong. How does anyone navigate the landscape we are currently in? And I think that's why I was just so constantly drawn back to this series. A story like this is the reminder I needed that the world doesn't have to work like this. That progress is made through collaboration, not dissociation. That disagree or not, we are still in this together, in an era that will be shaped by our collective hands. Whether any of us have the right
episode 23,
answer or
man.
not, it's thanks to this show that I remembered, as long as you can continue to question whether you are right.
不正解は無意味を意味しない。
何かを知るということだ。
指導説を信仰してる。このためにわざわざ生まれてきた。
きっと迷いの中に倫理がある。筆教。それは知性だ。
You won't find
Oh man, this is killing me in the... Wow, this is getting me in the feels, man. I love that anime so much. That's it? You just end it like that? Wait, let me just let it play out. Yeah, that's it. Wow. Wow. Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. As I said, Orb... Realistically speaking, I was talking about, you know, Uma Musume being up there with Orb at number 1. Realistically speaking, Orb is gonna be the anime that I'm gonna think about for many years to come, and I'm gonna rewatch over and over and over and over again, and each time that I rewatch it, it's gonna hit me harder. And as I said, I've rewatched it once this year, and I know I'm gonna rewatch it plenty of times in the years to come. And it's gonna be just the anime that's going to stick with me the most. I think about it so often. Some of the one-liners, especially upon a rewatch when I can watch something without the camera in my face, because I did do a reaction to it, obviously, on my channel. But rewatching it without the camera on my face, a lot of the lines hit me even harder, and it was... Every single character is so good. Gachiaka is my personal favorite, but every single character in this show is absolutely phenomenal and has a different ideology, has a different background, and comes to a different truth and pursues a different truth. But also, they all change and they take on characteristics from the people that I meet, the characters that they meet, and they talk to people. They are all people who are ready to talk to people with different ideologies. As Gigguk said, like, it is a show about characters talking to other characters and accepting, or not accepting, but understanding or trying to understand ideologies even though they disagree, right? And just listening to them. And by listening to them, even though they disagree with their ideology, they take on some of the traits from that person, which is just so cool to see. It's so interesting. It's one of the rare 10 out of 10 movie or anime that I've seen. I've watched quite a few anime, and even in all the anime that I've seen, there are only a few anime that I would genuinely give a 10 out of 10, like a masterpiece rating, and this is definitely one of them. Definitely one of them. It is not an over-exaggeration to say it is up there as one of the animes of the century. I would have to go through my list to be like, which is my definitive favorite anime of the century, but this one is definitely up there as a contender. Absolutely. Or did I say century? I meant a decade. Sorry, decade. Yeah, I think this one is definitely up there. It's a fantastic one. Uma Musume was one of those shows where I felt way more hype and just emotions when it comes to like strong emotions watching it for the first time, and I didn't feel that much hype in a long time as I did with Uma Musume, but Orb is one of those shows that's gonna stick with me the most out of any show that I watched this year. I wanted to talk about a few shows. Well, let me check. Which other shows have I seen that I would genuinely want to talk about that have not been on here? Anime 2025. So Orb was on here. I guess ReZero Season 3 ended this year. I would definitely say it's more of a 2025 show for me because it ended in 2025. But I guess that was fantastic. That was also, I think you talked about it in 2024, if I'm not mistaken, ReZero, right? Oh, one big show that I really want to talk about. Actually, there are two big shows that I want to talk about. Let me quickly make sure that that's it. Yeah, there are two big shows that I want to talk about that he hasn't talked about. One of them is Ave Musica. Bang Dream Ave Musica, I think, was a show that I would put on my personal top 10 of the year. It was an absolutely fantastic show about... It was a band show about Bang Dream. If you know what Bang Dream is, it's a show about... well, just making, like, schoolgirls making a band, right? Nothing that you haven't probably heard of before, but Ave Musica goes in a direction where it tackles a lot of very interesting ideas about, you know, having a dissociative identity disorder, so DID, which is also known as a multiple personality disorder. And we have people with many different, like, problems, actual, like, problems, and it goes really hard. The voice acting is some of the best voice acting that I've seen, and it's really like, especially the first half of the show is really interesting, really gripping with all of those themes that it presents. I do unfortunately think that the second half of the show is definitely weaker than the first half, because it does kind of like rush through some of the character arcs that I would have loved to see more of, and it only kind of like explores one character arc in the second half as opposed to like all of the other characters that are also there. But there is a new season or in the works. So I don't know when it's coming out, but it is in the works. It's gonna be a joint season of Mygo and Ave Musica, but maybe that's gonna expand more on the characters that haven't really gotten that full character development that I would have wished to see in season 1 of Ave Musica. But even still, I think it's an absolutely fantastic show that deserves to be up here and has probably some of the best music that I've seen or heard, or when it comes to insert songs of any anime. And I've seen quite a few music anime at this point. And the other one that I want to talk about is actually one that I feel like people might not agree with this, because I know people have mixed opinions on the show, and this is Gundam G-Quacks. Right? Gundam G-Quacks is a show that I absolutely love. It is my very first Gundam. It is my very first Gundam that I ever watched, and still to this day, the only Gundam that I've ever seen. And I absolutely loved it. I know that there's a lot of references to the OG Gundam. I did not pick up on any of the references. I saw some people talking about it in the comments, and I picked it up from that a tiny bit, but Overall, I think Gigguk was such a fun show. The one thing that I loved about Gigguk the most, the one thing that sold me on it, is how much it felt like a Hideaki Anno show, because obviously Hideaki Anno did work on it, right? He worked on it, he worked on the show, so you could tell a lot of the show was heavily influenced by him, right? It very much felt like you were watching like a fusion between what I would assume is the Gundam, like the normal Gundam story, fused with like Evangelion. And I love that because if you don't know, Evangelion is my favorite anime of all time. And just seeing, I don't know, the weirdness of Hideaki Anno in Gigguk was absolutely fantastic. I think the final episode, once again, definitely was underwhelming because it rushed through everything. The entire anime was really fast, which I kind of didn't mind because you could tell what was kind of happening in the show. Like, even though it was very fast and it was skipping through a lot of the story, you could kind of tell what was going on, but the final episode was just too fast, kind of like went above that. So that was unfortunate, but everything up until that point, I absolutely loved the Hideaki Anno weirdness in it, the character designs, the lore, the politics, so fun, and it was the show that made me interested in Gundam, and Gundam has been on my polls a few times now. It's come, I think it was 2% off of winning my YouTube poll against To Be Hero X. So To Be Hero X we're currently watching, but Gundam was 2% off of winning it. So I feel like we're gonna be watching it very soon. That's all I'm saying. So those are the two shows that I think would deserve a mention from me on my top 10. But anyways, this has been me rambling for like an hour on this, so I better stop it now. It's been a fun video. It's been fun to just reminisce about these anime. Absolutely banger of a video. Of course, it's going to be linked down in the description. And I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.